Hey, hey, hey. Welcome. I am your humble host, Phys Ed Music, and this is Urban Politics, where politics lives. Today is actually Father's Day. Yesterday was Juneteenth. Juneteenth, all in the news. That's actually the reason why I'm wearing this shirt right here. This is, Carson for president, Ben Carson. Now, I know you tripping off of that, like, yeah, we never knew you to be a Republican, and I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. But I bought this shirt because of a conversation me and my father had, and he had told me how, it was a big deal that a black man was actually poised to maybe get the Republican nomination. So he said the fact that there's a black man who could win the nomination on the Republican side, that is actually a testament to how far we've come as a people. I was like, that's an interesting way to look at it. So I bought this shirt because I was like, even though I don't agree with the man's politics or anything like that, and he's done a lot of things I think are just really stupid as of late, as I'm sure a lot of you agree with me on that. But with that said, here's a brother who did really, kind of get up, to those upper echelons of the Republican Party. Now, there was that other guy, Herman Cain, but I think he was always kind of viewed as a joke or whatever. Rest in peace. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. He has passed on. But I think he was always kind of viewed as a joke, to where Ben Carson, I would speak to people who really, really, really like this guy, and they really wanted him to get that nomination. He couldn't get it in the end, but, I had to get the shirt, saying just to be like, hey, hats off to him for getting as far as he did. So there's that. With that said, though, let me get right into it like a car and drive. There's all types of tasty politics for us to sink our teeth into. So let's do that, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. The Supreme Court stops the GOP from trying to get rid of Obamacare or the American Care Act. I think this is like the 60-some time they've tried to get rid of it. It's sad. It's pathetic. Thank God. I think this is it. I think, the Supreme Court even had remarks saying that we're done with this. The GOP has exhausted all types of measures to get rid of this legislation. It's not happening. People like Obamacare. People like the American Care Act. People can keep their kids on their insurance until they're 25. People like that. People can't be kicked off of an insurance because of a pre-existing condition, or barred from getting insurance because of a pre-existing condition. People like that. What do you want? So there's all types of stuff in the American Care Act that the American people like, and they're not trying to get rid of it. Ergo, the Supreme Court can't get rid of it. And I think it might have been Justice John Roberts who had said to the GOP that if you're trying to get rid of the American Care Act, you're going to have to do it through political measures. Don't try to go through the courts, because we're not going to do it. And they've shown that they're not going to do it. So really, thank God for that. There are so many Americans who would be dead right now without the American Care Act. And the GOP, they put a moniker on it, called it Obamacare. But it's funny because Obama, he took that on. He said you can call it Obamacare because Obama does care. And that's what's up, man. That brother put his political future on the line to get this thing passed. He did it. It's the law of the land. They can't get rid of it 60 sometimes later of wasting taxpayer time and money trying to get rid of it. They still have not gotten rid of it. So guess what? In your face, GOP. You're not going to steal millions of people's health care, and they're not going to die in the street with nothing. So there's a win you didn't get. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Joe Biden, how he had a meeting with Putin. And, he was saying, I'm going to meet with Putin. I'm going to tell Putin what I want him to know. Of course, he wants to look tough on Russia because our last administration was kind of, on Putin's jock. Trump, he wanted to be Putin. Putin's a thug in real life. Putin comes from nothing. Putin has killed people. Putin's done all types of gangster type stuff for real in real life. You can Google all of this. He's a thug for real. And they said he still acts, what did they say on the media? They said he still acts a lot like the young street tough who's from that bad neighborhood in Russia where he comes from. Some of that. You could take the ghetto out the man, but you can't, or you can take the man out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the man. And speak to somebody from Russia. It's real over there. You know what I'm saying? We got hoods here in America. Man, it ain't nothing compared to what they got going on over there in Russia. You talk about hard times for real. You know what I'm saying? I think after World War II, that place was pretty much crippled. So they really going through it in Russia, or have gone through it or whatever, continue to go through it. And he grew up in all that. I think Russia's probably better now. Is that because of Putin or in spite of Putin? I don't know. You had to talk to somebody from Russia. But that's what's going on there. Biden is no friends of this guy. He's not trying to cuddle up to Russia, never has been. So it is what it is. But it was kind of hard for him to go over there and speak down to this man about meddling in elections when America has meddled in elections 80 times worldwide between 1946 and 2000. That blew me away. Now, I've heard before that we meddle in elections all the time. When they were talking about Russia meddling in the 2016 election, my Republican friend told me, said, hey, guess what? America does it all the time. We do it all the time. We've done it all the time for years. And I was like, what? Is that real? Come to find out, yes, a study was done. 80 times worldwide we have meddled in elections between 1946 and 2000. There's just another reason to be skeptical of your government, America, but that is what it is. I guess a lot of that was protecting political interest and things like that. Oh well, but those are real numbers, and I agree. It's kind of like us trying to talk to China about human rights violations. China can come back and say, hey, you got black people in America getting shot by the police like 40 going north. We don't want you saying anything to us about our human rights violations. What you gonna say? You an American diplomat. I don't care what color you are. Well, how do you answer that? Maybe we'll get our stuff together and then come back with a better argument. Yeah, maybe you should do that, America. Maybe you should. Can't talk down to other people when you got problems. You got to clean up your own backyard before you go knocking on your neighbor's door. Anyway, moving on. 51% of Republicans think that election reviews could change the 2020 outcome. 7 months later, we are 7 months in to Joe Biden's presidency. These people are still thinking that. They're still thinking that recounts could change things. 51% of Republicans, that's a problem. That right there shows that party is going through some things. That party, they're having some growing pains. They're changing. Something's going on with them. 51, that's more than half of Republicans believe that the election could be overturned. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And I mean, Trump, he lost by a landslide. We've had recounts in all of these states. We've had Republicans recounting Republicans' recounts and have still come up with the Department of Justice. What they said was correct. This was the most safe election we've had in history. These people still want to relitigate it. And these people are of the mind that they're going to count those votes until they get the count that they want. That is a problem. That is a direct threat to democracy. They need to get off of it. So that's a problem. I don't know, how you deal with that. Maybe you can't. But I tell you what, the Democrats need to be vigilant and they need to take heed of that and make sure that these Republicans are not able to put people in position so that they get the count that they want. We need to keep these elections safe and fair and free. And Democrats, it's y'all's job to get on that. Stacey Abrams is one woman. She can only do so much, but she has really done a lot. But she needs a little bit of help. So the rest of you Democrats, stop resting on your laurels and get up. You know what I'm saying? And do something about this. Anyway, moving on, I want to talk about Joe Manchin. Now, I talked about him last show, and I said I was going to get a little deeper into the weeds of why he's being controlled to take the positions he's been taking or why he's doing the things he's doing. Let's talk a little bit about that. He's being paid by donors to oppose getting rid of the filibuster. Of course, everybody knows the filibuster it's old, it's archaic, it needs to go. It was basically only developed to stop a lot of civil rights legislation, a lot of anti-lynching legislation, a lot of that stuff. It's garbage. It's not in the Constitution. It was something that was added in later. It needs to kick rocks. So there's that. He's been protecting it because there's a lot of people who sit on high, a lot of people who lean to the right who want the filibuster to stay because they've been able to do amazing things with the filibuster. And with that filibuster, they can stop everything that Joe Biden's trying to do. Because with the filibuster in place, now you have to have a 60 vote majority to get things passed, which is redunculous. So it's kind of like the Democrats not even having the majority that they have. So with this filibuster, they'll end up squandering that majority because they won't be able to use it to pass anything. And then it's messed up too because then the Republicans got to a place where you can write in the filibuster. I've talked about that in shows past. You know how at least when the old school filibuster, you had to stand on that floor and you had to talk and eat up time so that legislation didn't get presented. Now these guys got to where you can just write one in. Oh, that's garbage. That's way too easy for you to stop, somebody's hard work and you just writing in a filibuster. So that needs to go, and it's a shame that Mr. Manchin is being coerced in supporting that legislation. Anyway, or supporting that, the filibuster. So AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of my favorite politicians, accused him of being controlled by dark money. It is what it is. It is what it is. And we're going to talk about the dark money he's being controlled by. People like the Koch brothers who are glad and he's supporting the filibuster. There's them. These guys are made of money. I think they said on record these guys got $500 million or $500 billion, something like that. These dudes are made of money, and they control elections here, there, wherever, all the time in the name of business, probably in the name of some of their personal interests. When you got this much money, you can basically do whatever you want to do in America, and they do. So there's a pack, I guess you would call them a group. I call them a cabal of billionaires. They're called No Labels. Ain't that something? No Labels. I heard that. I was like, man, that sounds like a music group or something. No Labels. No Labels is in the building one time. Nah. This is like a cabal of billionaires. Big money donors who make it their business to make sure that moderate Democrats are protected and have no influence over policy. Now, you might ask yourself, why would a person want no influence over policy? Well, if you don't have any influence over policy, people can't be mad at you, can they? Not really. You didn't do anything to hurt what they're trying to do. You didn't do anything at all. And a lot of these people, that's about what they're about. They're about just coasting through this government thing. They got this job in this position. They're not trying to make no waves. They're not necessarily trying to help people all like that. They're just trying to get paid, do their years or whatever, and then leave and go off to some cushy private sector job. And then that's when they make the real money. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, once again, you in the pushback zone, feel free to push back. But if you know politics like I know politics, that's what these guys do. Some of these guys and gals, they get into politics they might do 4 years in the Senate or 4 years in the House, one term, and then they get out of there and make just millions just because they were in government for 4 years. They didn't do anything while they were there. Nothing but collect a check. They weren't even on TV pretending to push legislation. But because they were there and can put that on their resume, now they're going to make millions of dollars for life. If for no other reason, for some law firm or some agency or some building or some company to be able to say, we have such and such who's a part of our board and he was once a congressman or woman. Welcome to America. Stupid stuff. Anyway, moving on. The person who runs this cabal of millionaires, her name is Nancy Jacobson. And she heads the organization. In a phone call, though, check this out, with No Labels, Joe Manchin was asking them for a bribe, basically, for another senator by the name of Roy Blunt. And what it was is he wanted them to bribe him with the promise of a job in the private sector to get him to vote on the insurrection investigation, to make it look like Joe Manchin was getting bipartisan support. Or to make it also look like maybe that he was able to work around the filibuster. Let me go ahead and explain that. So here it is. Joe Manchin was telling them on a phone call, he said, man, I really need some help with this. I need y'all to maybe make an offer, to Roy Blunt to maybe get him to vote yes for this insurrection commission so that it looks like I was able to get bipartisan support from Republicans and we don't need to get rid of the filibuster. But the way things stand now, he wasn't able to get bipartisan support from the Republicans. So we do need to get rid of the filibuster. And that's what he's getting from his cohorts and stuff on the left. So he needs something to combat this. So he wanted these people, this cabal of billionaires, to holler at Mr. Blunt and say, hey, look, man, you about to step down, right? You about to leave office. We know you're looking for something to do in retirement. So how about you just come over here and make a bunch of money to sit in an office and pick your nose and wear a suit and every now and then, get on TV and make a statement because you used to be in government. How about it? And you know what? How about this? That's not even illegal. That's not illegal. Is that a bribe? Sounds like a bribe. I would call it a bribe. I would venture to say that you and yours would also call it a bribe. I mean, if I say you scratch my back, I scratch yours, you scratch my back, do what I did you to do, and then you do it, and I give you a bunch of bread, that's a bribe, right? Sounds like a bribe to me. But this is America, and that's politics as usual. So that's not a bribe. That's just a regular conversation. That's probably not illegal. I mean, could the ethics committee say something to Mr. Manchin? Sure they could, but will they? Probably not. Because a lot of them guys on the ethics committee are just as dirty as anybody else. So welcome to politics. That ain't going nowhere. But that's what's going on. And that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, you have a moderate Democrat who doesn't support getting rid of the filibuster as toxic and as big a hindrance to government as it's been. Money. It's always money. They say follow the money, there it is. So it's money, 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 money. Let's hope that Mr. Manchin grows a conscience and starts voting with his caucus and we get some of this stuff done that we need to get done for the American people. Moving right along. Let's talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Now, all of this stuff I'm going to talk about, these are reasons why I don't mess with music. A lot of people who know me, I've done music for years. I still do it from time to time. You know, I've gotten into hip hop music, but I also love alternative rock music, stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of times when I do music these days, you know, it's just for the love or whatever, because the music business is so just tore up from the floor up. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute, because I came across an article that was just so interesting, and it was heartbreaking because I know a lot of artists. And when I tell you some of the facts I'm going to tell you about this music industry that you and I are supporting, we all listen to music. I have yet to meet one person who doesn't listen to some kind of music. Some kind of music you get into. You know, and I would venture to say that these things I'm going to talk about, when no venture to say, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, this goes for all. This is country music artists. This is alternative rock artists. This is rock artists. This is R&B artists. If you listen to an artist on Spotify or Pandora or some of these outlets, they're falling into this category and they're getting fleeced like artists have always gotten fleeced. I think I posted this article and I said, read why I hate the record business, why I hate the music business. This is it. And I tell people that all the time. The music business is the worst business on the planet. Everybody's on the take. Everyone's a liar. Everyone's looking to take advantage of you. People only want to deal with you if it boosts their career. That is the music business. With all that said, still one in. Still looking for that hit. Let me write that hit that blows up. I can't wait. I'm dying to get in it. With all that said, though, but know that this music business is horrible. I remember years ago, a young lady, she was an artist, and she told me, she said, this music, it's a dream, ain't it? It ain't nothing but a dream. That's it. You'll never achieve it, but you can just dream about it. Some of that. And you know, there are those stories. You know, you got your Kendrick Lamars, you got your Kanye West, you got your Drakes, you got people like that who do their thing. You got your Ed Sheerans, you got your Imagine Dragons, you got people like that who do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Heck, you have your people like Arctic Monkeys. Now there's a group, no record deal, no nothing. Just started doing songs on the internet. Boom, they got a record deal. Boom, they're in the music business. Sometimes it happens that organically for people. Oh my goodness, there's another group, not Franz Ferdinand, but what is the name of it? I love Franz Ferdinand too, but they got a song called The Walker. I can't remember their name, but that group, they just started putting songs on the internet. They took fire and boom, they got a following and boom, they were in the bit. That happens sometimes, but that's not typical. You know, those people are few and far in between, right? So let's talk about the typical story for your favorite artist out here. Music. Artists are getting fleeced. They are. Spotify, the #1 streaming service, only pays or pays 70% of its royalties to people who own the rights to a song, which is usually the record company. People don't know. When it comes to music, the devil's in the details. Those rights, that's the biggest thing. The person getting paid off that song is the person who owns the rights to the music. That's why a lot of times you'll see a lot of these older artists, if you've ever seen the movie Cadillac Records or things like that, a lot of those older artists did not own the rights to their music. So when their music gets played, even today, they don't see none of that money. The record company gets all of that money because the record company owns the rights to that music. That's messed up. That's the music business. Moving on. The music industry made $42 billion in 2020. Artists saw just 12% of that, or $5 billion, $40 million. And artists with millions of plays and maybe 200,000 monthly listeners will still report making minimum wage or barely making minimum wage. Artists on Spotify only get 0.004% per play. That's ridiculous. Aloe Blacc, who is an extremely talented brother, man. He had a song, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. That's the favorite song of mine of his. But he had another song that was a hit song. It was called Wake Me Up. It was one of the most streamed songs in Pandora's history. He said he only got $40,000 from the largest streaming service. $40,000. $4,000. $4,000. So that's a 4 and 3 zeros. That's all Aloe Blacc saw from a song he had that was reportedly one of the #1 downloaded songs in Pandora's history. All he got was $4,000. They say if you listen for a month and pay your $10 subscription, only $2 of it goes to the artist you listen to. Check this out. The rest gets put in a pie, and a complex equation divvies it up between artists, and that's all artists. So that's what they said. They said, you get on there and you're listening to whoever, Fall Out Boy, Tegan and Sarah. I'm just giving you some of my playlist. Kenny Hoopla. Say you listen to these people, right? Of that $10 you paid a month, they may have got $2 of it, divided up amongst them. That other, you know what I'm saying, well, what is that, $8 got divided amongst all the other artists. And that's all the other artists, your country music artists, your R&B artists, your hip hop artists, all of that, your emo rap artists, all of them got a piece of that $8, right? Some artists complain that this system, with this system, the only people making money are people like Drake or Ed Sheeran. And they're saying you have to be basically on that level to get any money off of your music. That's crazy. Because I'm going to tell you, these guys are moving units. Drake moving units. Ed Sheeran moving units. They're all over the place, right? And I mean, that's bully for them. But what about other artists over here who are also good who don't move units like that? So that's, you know what I'm saying? They have to share $8 with a gazillion other artists, because there's a lot of other artists out there. To where these two guys only had to share that, that $2, that's something. That's messed up. But that is, once again, that's the music business. They were saying that artists right now are lobbying to change it. They were saying maybe at least get a penny per stream. That would be nice. At least get a penny per stream, which sounds like nothing, but that would be a big deal. I know what it's like. I've moved units in Japan, and I think we had sold like maybe 1,000 units there. We got half a penny per unit, stuff like that. See what I'm saying? What is that? That ain't no money. We couldn't have at least got a penny per stream. You know what I'm saying? We got a half a penny per stream. That's garbage. So, and that wasn't even a whole lot of, streams, but it's just the point. How about we could at least got $1 per stream? That would have been nice. Because heck, $1 per stream, that would have been $2,000 or $1,000 that we had right there. That looks pretty good when you broke. See what I'm saying? But that's happening. Why? Because the music industry is dirty, is shiesty. It's all about sharking people, undercutting people, and that's what the record companies did. They undercut the artists. The record companies went to these streaming outlets and said, look, we're going to do it like this and make sure that your top artists get most of the money, and you all keep giving us money, and that's how we'll do it. And these other lower artists, actually the people supporting them will help us pay you more artists to these top selling artists, and we'll keep it moving like that. So that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Record companies went to these streaming outlets and said, hey, look, we'll give you this money here low key. just make sure that, you know what I'm saying, our top artist gets the most of the money that comes in from people listening, whether they're listening to them or not. Ain't that interesting? That's what it is. I guess you call that big business. Anyway, moving on, it's time to talk about my IPA of the week. And my IPA of the week is this Hazecraft IPA, and it's made by no other than Great Lakes. Great Lakes is right out of Cleveland, right here in OHIO. OH and a dime. I love Great Lakes. A lot of their beers are spectacular. They got an IPA that's amazing. They actually have, they got two IPAs now. They have one IPA that I've been drinking for years. They've had for years. That's, I think it's called Commodore Perry. Don't give up the sip. Like, don't give up the ship. Don't give up the sip. Delicious. That's a really good beer. And then now they also have another IPA, but I think that one's just called Great Lakes IPA. That's actually really good too. This one right here, this Hazecraft IPA, is a juicy, tropical, and hazy IPA. They say it blasts into orbit through a hazy galaxy of otherworldly tropical fruit aromas. It's 6.7% alcohol. It gets it in. This right here does not disappoint. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket, you want to run out here and get you a delicious craft beer, a delicious IPA. People were telling me it's better to drink it in a glass. Now, this is a Coca-Cola glass. Usually, you'll see me with my beer glass, but it's better to drink it there because they say when you pour it in there, it releases the aromas and all that good stuff. This right here has some amazing tropical notes that you're going to want to smell and inhale while you're drinking that beer. It's delicious. What can I say? Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth to the people out there. Juneteenth did happen yesterday. I'll talk more about Juneteenth next show. I didn't even want to deal with it this show because Juneteenth is kind of like a backhanded slap in the face from America. We didn't get any legislation on police violence, but we got a national holiday for Juneteenth. And Juneteenth, I've been celebrating Juneteenth since I can remember. There have always been celebrations in the hood and in the black community for Juneteenth. So just now, I guess mainstream or white America wants to get hip to the fact that there's a holiday called Juneteenth that people are celebrating. Now let's make it a national holiday. And then not even give any context on it. Because I guarantee you, most people have no idea what Juneteenth is about. But I think most people of color, most black people do, because like I said, we've been celebrating it for years. So I will talk more about it next show. But for this show, I wanted to deal with some other stuff that's going on that's, necessarily more important than a holiday we've been celebrating for years. Anyway, I want to thank you for kicking it with your boy, like I said, on a Father's Day. I'm hoping you're having a good Father's Day. To all the fathers out there, like I said, you know what I'm saying? I put a post out there and I'm like, it's a thankless job, but it's the thankless job that you'll love. The most thankless job that you'll ever love. You know what I'm saying? So you might not get a thank you for it, but if you ever watched the show Breaking Bad, that was a show that used to be on TV, and there was a guy in there, his name was Gus, and I think he was a friend of Walter White, the dude making the meth, and I think he was a supplier or something like that, and he was telling them, he said, a man provides. Said even when he's not thanked for it, he provides. So to all the brothers out there who've been providing, and that doesn't just mean monetarily, that doesn't just mean money, but also providing support, providing care for their family and for their children. Because believe it or not, the father is the cornerstone of the family, So to all those men out there, keeping it up, keeping the family well supported, hats off to you. Like I said, it's a thankless job, but we don't need a thank you. We don't do it for a thank you. We do it because it is our duty and it is our honor, kind of like being in the military. So that's what's up. Alrighty, I am Phys Ed Music. This has been Urban Politics, where politics live, and I will see you round like a donut.